In my daily work, I increasingly interact with design partners who share with me various types of file formats. Therefore, the ability to import these files into Allplan and keep them constantly updated becomes a crucial task. On this note, I'd like to remind you that Allplan allows you to import files directly rather than inserting them as XRefs. Why insert them as XRefs? Because afterwards I'll have the ability to manage all the files that I insert directly into Allplan. By files, I mean both Allplan's proprietary files as well as external formats, such as DGN, DWG, DXF, or even IFC. The XRef Manager has introduced a whole series of improvements in terms of managing all these files, such as the ability to apply filters, to sort them, to update a single file instead of updating all of them at once, to replace one file with another, and to constantly monitor if anything has changed. In addition, it has also introduced the concept of XRF Cloud. But let's see how to proceed. Here, I've prepared a brief example where I'd like to draw a parallel with the possibility of importing a DWG file directly, for instance, like this. By importing the DWG, I obviously get all the geometric entities. At this point, let's try selecting all my elements and deleting them and make this parallel, where instead of importing the DWG directly, I try to link it, thanks precisely to the XRef feature. Now, during the insertion phase, I can decide whether I want to insert that DWG at any point or keep the original location of my data. As you can see from the object palette, at this point, I don't have all the graphic elements, but simply a free XRef. If needed, if the XRF frame bothers you, you can also disable it. One of the advantages of XRef is that the elements it contains are snappable. What do I mean by that? Simply put, if I want to measure the area of this section, I can perfectly align the vertices of my room. Or, for example, I could use this type of XRF as a reference base to fill it with a whole series of elements. So the question I need to ask myself is, do I really need those elements as native elements inside Allplan? Or is it enough for me to use them as reference elements? At this point, let's suppose my collaborator provides me with a second version of that DWG file, and for this purpose, I paste it into my folder and overwrite the previously imported file. So now I have a new version. If I move into the XRef Manager, here I have the ability to see that I have directly linked the ground floor DWG within my document, and I have this alert that indicates to me that the file has been changed. What happens when I click Update on the selected elements? As soon as I click OK, I always find the latest version of the file that my design partner is working on. At the same time, directly from the XRef Manager, I can perform a multitude of operations in terms of filters, sorting, and so on. An interesting aspect is the ability to replace the linked file, so I can tell it that I no longer want the ground floor, but maybe I want the first floor instead. If we use the undo and redo commands, so pressing Ctrl-Z or Ctrl-Y on the keyboard, we can easily see how I am able to continually and consistently maintain my references.